Welcome back. I know I missed last week. We're not going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it because it's been a heavy past month. You don't want to be in the shot? Okay, that's okay. You were there for the intro. Oh, you want lap time. Anyway. Yeah, so just before we really get into what we're going to talk about today, I want to address kind of what's going on in the world. I'm not going to go into deep conversation about it, but I feel like I do need to say something in case anybody is confused about where we stand in this household. This is probably the most serious thing that I'm going to talk about. And I don't know. Maybe it'll set the tone for future episodes, but Palestine and what it's going through right now is mind-boggling. It's fucked. And I am going to put links and profiles, whatever. I'll do all of that and I'll put it all in the bio for you guys. For those of you who are interested, for those of you who want to follow and be informed by real people who are telling the truth and what's actually happening over there versus trying to watch stupid TV that's just saying lies after lies after lies. I went to a protest last week, and I'm not gonna lie, my mind was not in a good headspace to do a podcast. So we'll stick with the same topic that I had for last week, but I just felt like I needed to say something. I went to protest last week. I know some of you already know that I live in St. Paul for a whole another week. I'm moving back home. But I was fortunate enough to have a couple friends go with me, as I would probably not go alone. Nothing happened, just you never know, being in a bigger city and being in a protest and just the controversy around the whole thing. And I learned a lot and I felt good supporting and being there with everybody and feeling like I truly am doing something. And there's so much more that you can do. You don't have to go protest, but I encourage everybody to. One thing that they mentioned when I was there was to use the protests and the energy and the community as refueling. Refueling your heart, your spirit. And it's true, because when I was there, you truly do feel like there's more on your side than you may think. Because when you're home and you're watching these videos and you're hearing all these things, you feel tiny, like one person and the whole, I can't do anything, I can't make a difference, really sits in. So I encourage everybody to go protest, stand up for what you believe in. I can't express enough how important it is to have opinions and to stand on them and to stand up for others no matter what it takes, time and time and time and time again. That's where we'll keep it. Like I said, if you're interested, I will try to had accounts of Palestinians, journalists, and all that good stuff in the bio. But moving forward, what we were going to talk about last week, SpongeBob. Listen, before you guys say anything or click away, stop. I love SpongeBob. And I grew up on it like many people did. By the way, I always forget to introduce stuff. But today's face mask. Gather your things. I got my little drink today. San Pellegrino. Blood orange. This stuff is so good. 10 out of 10. Recommend. Okay. Big gulp. And then I have my face mask. It is a mud mask from Jafra Spa. What? Jafra Spa. My mom actually buys these. And I'm not even sure where. I also realized, y'all forgive me. My mic was twisted. I did not double check that. If it just got louder, I'm sorry. I'll edit the audio, hopefully. Fingers crossed, because that was a lot. Anyway, my mom orders these, and I stole it. Love you, Mom. But I stole it, and I love this mud mask. It is pretty thick, and she dries pretty strong, so it gets a little rough out here once it's completely dry. Let me grab a mirror because I'm going to make a mess. Also, again, let me preface this by saying that this is probably going to be a long episode just because I got a lot to say. So y'all can't tell a whole lot, but like I said earlier, I'm moving and I'm moving back. I am moving back to little small town, and I'm kind of excited, kind of sad, as most changes come along. There's a lot of things that happen. Things don't work out the way you want them to, and you gotta keep going. I feel like a lot of you could have anticipated this from the get-go, since I said what I said the first episode, but I'm back to the packing stage of my life and moving everything and starting with new plans and figuring life out. However, hopefully this time it's a little easier, since I kind of already had a life where I'm going or returning. So, bro, this thing is hard to get out. So, I've been tired. I've been busy. I've been tired. I've been packing, and it's funny because I'm actually moving on Thanksgiving Day. And I'm getting home, but not from like my family, unfortunately. Not because of Thanksgiving, kind of, sort of. No, yeah, it kind of is. But it's also okay, because I feel like this time around, I don't have a whole couch that I need to move that didn't even end up fitting here, and whatever. Point being, that's why my apartment looks a little empty. Or, yeah, I am going to miss the view. You guys can't tell, but it's kind of a nice view out here. And I do miss the setup. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys could tell before, but I had a loft bed that my dad made for me, specifically for this apartment because of how tiny it is, and I wanted to have my desk still and enough space to have like a little sitting area for the living room. But I don't know if we're going to put it back at my mom's house, because I live in the basement. I live in my mom's basement, as they say. And I don't think that the bed fits down there. So the setup for the podcast might be a little different, but hopefully it'll be even better, because I can set up a whole little area now instead of just underneath my bed. It's kind of crazy, but anywho, back to the topic of the day. We are going to talk about SpongeBob and all the conspiracy theories. I guess not all of them, but a lot of the conspiracy theories that people have talked about with how the creators came up with these ideas and like what they mean. Oh no, I got it on my blanket. Oh no, my shoulder. Sorry. Conspiracy theories and the meaning of things and all that. Character development. Yada yada yada. Okay, cool. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize that my memory card was gonna get filled up. So deleted it. What? I opened up some space. What I was saying is that I normally put the face mask a little lower past the jawline to make sure it gets a little bit on my neck. But today I'm being lazy, so this is as far as we're going. Okay, so let's talk about it. SpongeBob. This started off because I was talking to my coworkers about this and how actually I think I make too many SpongeBob references while I'm at work, and that's how I live my life, and you can't stop me. So we were talking about it and we were talking about SpongeBob, and then a lot of them were explaining to me different conspiracy theories that they've heard, and I was like, well, how am I just learning about this? I've watched so many videos and have read so many articles. I couldn't even tell you half of them of where I got them, but I know that this is like crooked, isn't it? I know that there's like a lot of, you guys, we're struggling today. It's hard getting back into it. Anyway, there's a lot of YouTubers out there, but there's one specific one whom has done countless videos of conspiracy theories, specifically of shows. So I will also link his YouTube channel in the description. He was a big one for me because he went through a lot of them, a lot of the conspiracies. Okay, let's start off with Krabby Patties. There's theories of what they're made of, and one of the ones that my coworker mentioned was that Krabby Patties were made of crab. I know. It's crazy. My mind was also blown. The crazy part is that I didn't even pay attention to the Krusty Krab being a crab trap. Like, if you pay attention, it looks like a crab trap. The structure. And it makes me feel dumb because how did I not notice that before? And that was kind of the one that I was like, oh my gosh, how have I just been watching this show for years and never, ever, ever thought twice? I could have been brainwashed and I wouldn't have even noticed. I could be brainwashed, which is probably what my mom thinks because she didn't technically let us watch it growing up because she said he was stupid and annoying. I agree, Mom. But so am I. Anyway. So it's crab. And Plankton trying to steal the secret recipe was mostly to expose Mr. Crab for cannibalism. I think that is the craziest theory that I've heard, but it makes sense, right? Like, especially if you look back at the history of them and how they were friends and all this good stuff, that makes sense. Because he's trying to ruin his business by saying, like, you guys are cannibals, you're eating other fish. And Mr. Crab's been lying to you this whole time so that he can take the business. But there's other theories that because Mr. Krabs and Plankton were friends back in the day, you know, there's the whole backstory of they used to play cards together, yada, yada, yada. So another theory was that the Krabby Patties had chum in it. And that's what the patties were made out of. Plankton's chum. Yes. Plankton's actually the culprit for all these delicious Krabby Patties. And Mr. Krabs buys it from Plankton to keep his business afloat because they were friends. And this helps Mr. Krabs make money, and it helps Plankton make money because if you think about it, the chum bucket never had a customer. How could he afford to keep the business open? Because Mr. Krabs was buying his chum for the Krabby Patties. I'm saying. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. I love that fish. Anyway, there's another theory that the Krabby Patties are made of whale. Specifically, I had a brain fart for a second. Pearl's mom. Sorry. Pearl's mom. And that Mr. Krabs actually killed Pearl's mom and made the whale meat into the patties. And I don't know if you guys remember this episode, but remember the episode where like Squidward finally tastes the Krabby Patty and he's like obsessed and he sneaks into the Krusty Krab to eat more Krabby Patties, and SpongeBob finds him in the freezer where he ate all the pre-made thousands of Krabby Patties. Which is like, you think about it, why would you pre-make Krabby Patties when SpongeBob makes them? You know, I know it's a show. Roll with it. The theory is that Mr. Krabs, because he had all this meat, froze it for future keep. And eventually, the reason why he keeps Pearl around is so that he will eventually take care of her too to make her Krabby Patty meat. That's also a crazy ass theory. Considering how much money Mr. Krabs spends on Pearl, because everybody who's seen that show knows that Mr. Krabs is a penny pincher and he would do anything to not spend a dime on anything. A penny. Nothing. So, if you think about that, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. There's like pictures in his house of the whale and like a harpoon, this, that, and the third. Like, there's little details that go into it that make that one very, very, very believable. Because a whale was not born from a crab, first of all. Even if it was like Mr. Krabs got with a whale, like, that would not work. Again, I know, it's a show. Humor me, please. But it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But that theory makes the most sense. I understand cannibalism being like a big thing, but I genuinely think that that's it. I believe that it was Pearl's mother. Because think about how Mr. Krabs swears. Sweet mother of Pearl. Like, it has to be that one. Anyway, another theory is about Pearl, actually. It's the fact that Pearl is Mr. Krabs' daughter. She calls him daddy. He spends money on her. He spoils her. Doesn't make sense that she's a whale and he's a crab. But the theory is that Mr. Krabs is actually Pearl's sugar daddy. Right? I thought this one was kind of funny. I don't know how old Pearl is, but I know she's young. She's young. If I don't remember right, I don't want to say she's a teen. She's young. She's a teen. See, this is all just clicking in my brain. I hope that one's not it, because I think she's 16, because she has a sweet 16, because Mr. Krabs gets the boy band. Well, he gets Squidward. But you know what I'm saying? I don't think that one's it. But yeah, there's a theory that Mr. Krabs is just her sugar daddy, and she has other sugar daddies, like Squidward. I don't know where that one came from, but yeah, they said that Squidward was probably one of them too, and that there's like multiple people doing that, because Mr. Krabs is in love with Mrs. Puff. And having a sugar baby doesn't really impede with that, but like, I wonder how that all ties this in. Okay, so one of the main concept of the show is that it takes place in Bikini Bottom, right? I don't know how much you guys know about history, because I just learned this. Isn't that crazy that you learn something from a fucking kids show? But have you guys ever heard of Bikini Atoll? Because I learned this today from a TikTok, actually, that my friend sent me. So the word bikini comes from from the Marshallese language. Mind you, this TikToker's name is Griffin. And this is spoken in the Marshall Islands in the northwestern Pacific Ocean. It's around 60,000 people. So today, essentially to sum it up, is that the United States invaded these islands during World War II. And there was it remained a trust territory in the United States until 1979. And there's an island called Marshall Island, the place of coconuts. So back in 1946, 167 people lived there. And the United States government relocated all of those by force, all of those people, to a island close. And the reason was so that the government could conduct 23 nuclear tests. And after these tests were done in 1958, there was so much ecosystem affected of Bikini Atoll that when they moved those people back into the island in 1970, so many people were affected by the radiation. They were poisoned, and they relocated them again in 1980. So the word bikini came from to refer to people because of the effect you have on other people wearing it while wearing it. Let me rephrase that. So the word bikini was created because it was in reference to the effect you would have on other people while wearing it, because it was explosive, he said. Think about that. explosive. Who wears bikinis, guys? Women. Who usually perceives women in bikinis? At least back in the day, you know how people were. Yeah, so after that whole little history buff, I learned how the word bikini was coined and why bikinis are called bikinis. But in relations to that, bikini bottom. When I thought about bikini bottom, I thought about it literally as in bikini bottoms, because this is going to get a little explicit, but bikini bottoms, okay, they're, down in that area, and there's crabs living down there. There's supposed to be a lot of references, and I can't remember half of them. But there's a lot of references that kind of entail, the women's under area, and that's what I thought Bikini Bottom was for. But no, I think Bikini Bottom is a show represented. It's supposed to show how during that time, during the bombing and all that stuff, it affected the ecosystem so much that it made it so the fish could speak, right? So the fish can speak. The fish have their own lives. But there's a difference, because let me remember what it's called, or if I can look it up real quick. But you guys know that one episode where SpongeBob goes like all the way under, what's it called? I didn't even write it down. That one episode where they're all talking like, how will you go down there tomorrow? I can't remember the language or the name of the place, but that place is supposed to be the core of where the bombs were at, like the most radiation, all of that. If you think about it, the fish glow. The fish have glowing qualities. They speak differently, and it's darker down there, and you don't want to get stuck down there because eventually you die. So there's a theory that in that episode specifically, those fish are dead because of the radiation. Eventually, they get so messed up that they die. So when SpongeBob was down there, he had been warned by his grandfather to not chase after the bus. And I think it has to do with the fact that once you're down there, I don't think they want to bring you back, because of the radiation. You go back down there and you bring all this extra radiation back, you might not even make it because you've been poisoned. And you won't last very long there. That's why also the urgency to get back home. So if you remember the episode, there is a red fish that helps SpongeBob finally get out. And he blows up SpongeBob's balloon even higher so that SpongeBob can fly out. But that fish appears later on in different episodes too, where he is kind of hanging out with SpongeBob and stuff. And the theory is that he actually died after then, because he was the only one that kind of spoke SpongeBob's language. Because when SpongeBob said, thank you, the guy just said, you're welcome. And that kind of threw SpongeBob for a spin, because like, how do you speak my language if you're from down here? So they think that he actually got stuck down there, and he wasn't originally from there. And he liked it so much and eventually died. Which is crazy. It's crazy. It's a crazy theory. There's so many like things that are intertwined that you would never think about. And I love shows and movies like that. But I can't say that I'm a conspiracy theorist, because I think you can literally make a conspiracy out of anything when you think about it really hard. Like, you can talk yourself into circles if you really want to try it. The whole Disney conspiracy theories. There are hours and hours and hours of videos and people talking about this and research and photographic evidence and all that good stuff. And I just feel like if you're constantly thinking about things that way, I don't want to say it, but it's kind of like you make things up, like you give more meaning to things than you really are. And maybe if you don't, then you kind of just live through life simply. Like you just process things, but you don't you pay attention to detail. You don't make connections as much, and just kind of walking through life. And either one's fine. It's just kind of whatever you want. But I don't know. I don't think I'm a big conspiracy theorist because, like I said, you can make anything true if you really try. So, and the thing about conspiracy theories is that half the time they're not confirmed by the actual creators. Obviously, it helps them boost up the talk of movies, shows, whatever. So why would they? Sorry, I'm adjusting my heated blanket. It's cold. But I don't know. This one was the one that I really felt like I wanted to talk on because, like I said, I grew up on the show, even though my mom said I couldn't. And I love it. It's funny. It has so many good references. And they're all so different that it makes no sense. Also, the music, banging. 10 out of 10. No one beats the Backyardigans, but I'll give you guys not a 10 out of 10. We'll give you an 8 out of 10. Ripped his pants, bro. When he ripped his pants. Also, I wanna go ho, whoa, whoa, whoa. A classic. We love Sandy Cheeks. But anyway, that's the majority of them. I had one more, but this one's kind of intricate. So all I'm going to say is skin theory. Look it up. There's one specific YouTuber, the one that I was telling you about that has done a whole video on skin theory. Look it up. Watch it. It'll blow your fucking mind. There's so much research on this. And it's a good watch. It's a good watch. I guess I had one more. Sorry. Global warming theory. So it's said that the show is kind of supposed to be representative of global warming and its effects. So SpongeBob is supposed to be pollution. So as a pollution, he's always happy. He's a happy worker. Just kind of does what he's told, whatever. And the big corporation, Mr. Krabs, his employer. So SpongeBob just kind of does whatever he wants, or SpongeBob follows Mr. Krabs' orders. He's happy. He's positive. He just does what he wants to get his paycheck. He loves his job. Mr. Krabs is in it for the money, and he will use SpongeBob at all means necessary. And hardly pays him, honestly. Sorry, my cats are everywhere. But hardly pays him, and SpongeBob is still there, does a good job. And all that good stuff. There's also the theories of the 7 sins, the 7 deadly sins, greed, all that good stuff. Again, I won't get into those. There's so many theories on the show. And I think that's the greatest thing about it is you can interpret the show however you want. It is art, and that's what art's supposed to do. It's supposed to open your mind. It's supposed to make you aware. And I think when there's so much that you can take from something and you can morph something into something that it might not even be, or what the artist didn't even intend, I think that's fun, and it gives the show so many different dynamics so you can enjoy it no matter where you are, no matter where you come from. And I think that's part of SpongeBob's success. I mean, it is a pretty violent show if you really think about it, But also you think about old shows like Tom and Jerry dropping anvils on each other. That's crazy. But the thing about SpongeBob is like it's kind of gory. Like you see fish bones all the time, and like that kind of stuff is just kind of weird because when you think about it, like you wouldn't watch Timmy Turner and you just see the head chopped off and you just see the skull. Timmy Turner. I said the Fairly Odd Parents. My Gen Z brain is not working, but it is also midnight. I just really wanted to film today because I missed last week, but this isn't even caffeinated, as it shouldn't be because I work tomorrow. Anyway, so what do we think, guys? What's your guys' SpongeBob theories? I want to hear them. I'm so invested in this for no reason. But it was fun. I actually enjoyed it, and I enjoyed learning a lot. And I think that's kind of what I like about podcasting, because it really makes you reach out and think about things that you normally wouldn't. So do what you do. Take care of your skin. Thank you for doing face masks with me today, and for listening to my stupid talk about SpongeBob. Take care of yourselves. Holidays are coming up, guys. Take care of yourselves. Winter is hard. I just got a new little plant. It's a little ginseng. She was dying. I got her at IKEA. And you know those plants that are like kind of deteriorating because they're indoors and stuff? They put them out for like $10. So I got this little ginseng tree and it's just chilling over there, and I move it to the sun every chance that I can. I really need to get a grow lamp. Anyway, we're gonna talk about plants at some point on the podcast because I'm getting into plants. My friend's getting into plants, or Mercy, you guys saw her. And we talked about how weird it is growing up. And then now suddenly we like plants in the house. But I'll save that for the podcast. Anyway. Sorry. Anyway. Have a good night. Or good day. Whenever you're watching this, it's night here. I'm about to take a hot shower and go to sleep. I have to keep packing this week, and maybe by next week we'll have a new location. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. Anyway, bye.